This is Culture X Commerce. I'm Lionel, my co-host Anna Roop, and we have Darren, founder of CapSole. You're gonna be extremely excited for this particular interview because we're talking about sneakers, especially if you're a sneakerhead, right? You see, I got the Barclays on. He has something really, really custom. If you were to zoom in on this is the actual capsule bag on the zipper. So, and then Roop, he always keep it crazy. You can see he got the high tops. He's going nuts with it. But yeah, so we're super excited to bring to you Darren, founder of CapSole, is going to tell you all about what he's building. And so, Darren, tell me a little bit about yourself and what you're working on.
Yeah, so it all started back when I was a kid, right? So I had these beautiful Puerto Rican Air Force Ones. They were like really red, soft, buttery leather material, creamy white midsole, little Puerto Rican flag on it.
I see.
And I just remember like going into my room and opening them one day, and they were just completely like a mustard yellow. The leather had cracked, the shoe looked terrible, and I didn't want to wear it anymore. And so that always stuck with me from a kid. And then flash forward to 2019 when I came up with this idea, I was just looking in my closet. I started seeing some of the same signs of like the yellowing, the aging, and just I knew this was going to happen to more of my shoes and I wanted to prevent it. And at the time, I was like a practicing attorney. So I was going in my office and I couldn't wear, Jordans, Yeezys, Air Force Ones. I was really wearing like dress shoes.
Right.
So I was barely wearing my shoes at all. So I came up with this idea of like how to preserve your sneakers. I ended up reaching out to a guy who's a PhD in like polymers and nanocomposites. He's like a product designer. So I was like, hey, I want to make my shoes last forever. He's like, we can't make them last forever, but we can definitely extend the lifespan of them. And so from there, we really just got started on it. It took us about 2 years to develop the product because we had to test it, develop it, wanted to make sure everything really worked and really did what we said it did.
Mhm.
And so after that, we launched it and here we are today.
Awesome. That's great. So that's the origin story. He just painted for us his first ruined pair. Right. We're gonna have to show those. We're gonna have to. Can we show? Do you have?
Oh,
Can we show?
I don't have the shoes
Oh man, I'm
anymore.
about to
Yeah, I
say
don't have
that.
the shoes
Oh, that would
anymore.
have been. Oh, that
If
would have been
I
cool.
there's like pictures, I think
There
there's
may be
pictures on
some
the
pictures.
internet
There
on
may
it,
be some
not
pictures.
mine, but people can look and see like what they
Yeah.
look like. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, well, we appreciate you, sharing that moment with us. So now, who did you imagine you were building for when you created Capsule?
So I think about like kind of like avatars. So I think about your sneakerheads, your resellers, and just you know, everyday person who likes to wear sneakers, right? Just so those are kind of like the three buckets I put people in. So the sneakerheads are your diehards, like they know the history behind the sneakers. They have massive collections. You have your resellers who they just want to maybe flip them and be able to increase the profit. So this is going to work for them. And then you just kind of have your general people who are into sneakers, but maybe they're not like deep into culture with it, but they like to wear them and stuff
Right.
like that. So they also may have a couple what we call grails, which are very highly coveted shoes that are special to you. They don't have to be expensive; they just have to be special to you, right? So one customer said he bought like a I forgot his dad got him a Jordan 4 Fire Reds. That was like the first shoe he ever got. So like he wanted to preserve his capsules with those. And so those type of shoes that bring back memories to people that people really want to hold on to and they really enjoy, that's really what it's made for. And that's what I like kind of the general idea of what I had in my mind is like people like myself, you have memories with these shoes or you just really have so many shoes you want to try to keep all of them
Yeah.
in this like new condition for as long as possible.
But you got to preserve the story, right?
Yeah.
I think about classic sports. Like when you go watch the old, like for me, I'm big basketball fan. Like so, going to watch like the '90s playoff games. These memories.
Yeah.
These are like they're collectibles.
Right.
In a sense, right? You can go back and watch that and that nostalgia, that experience, that memory, that story that you're really preserving, right? So it's kind of like that with the shoes in a way, like you mentioned. This is a story that I'm trying to preserve. It brings to mind things that I want to remember,
Yeah.
as it were.
Yeah,
So I
definitely.
appreciate that. And Roop, any thoughts?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think sneakers, I think for everybody sitting right here are very near and dear to us, right? I'm thinking about sneakers and I'm like before I even knew entrepreneurship, I knew sneakers, right?
Mm,
Before I knew fashion, I knew sneakers,
right.
right? For myself, coming up where it was like, okay, you're coming up, not able to afford the sneakers or get the sneakers. I used to have my eyes set on, oh, these particular shoes I want, right?
Right.
And what's interesting to me was that it wasn't so much about being able to wear them and looking nice.
Mhm.
It was about like what we talked about with memories, right?
Mm,
Is that I wanted to have a trophy or a fragment of something that somebody wore who was excellent at what they did. They were the top of the field, right?
Yeah.
I think when we think about Jordans, that was the big thing for me. Is like I always wanted a pair of Jordans, like classic Jordans, right? Because it's like this man won championships, broke records, went against the odds, won all these different things, right? The Kobe's, I don't have too many Kobe's, even though I'm a big Kobe guy, right?
Right.
But the Kobe's I have are the 11s, right? We have the stitch on the left heel
Yeah.
to symbolize his Achilles.
Yeah.
And for me, it's that moment when he, tore his Achilles, goes, hits those 2 free throws on one leg, right?
Right. Right.
And
Yeah.
preserving that kind of moment. Woo. So
that's fire.
I just think about like, and one thing I wanted to mention because Darren's going to be a bit humble, but I want to make sure he gets his flowers there. You want to understand how complex, how sophisticated the technology is for CapSole. It's the same technology they use to preserve the Declaration of Independence.
Wow.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
Mic drop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about that. Tell us about the tech behind the product.
Yeah. So like first I wanted to understand like overall like why sneakers age, yellow, fall apart, crumble. And so basically there's the oxidation or hydrolysis, what's called. It's really just the oxygen and moisture in the air combined with like UV light or sunlight breaks down your shoes over time. Like most shoes use a polyurethane and it's squishy and it feels comfortable as you wear it, but it's not supposed to last forever, right? So when people think about crumbling, that's what goes. But like the leather, the nubuck, all those other things, they wear over time too, as well. And that's caused by the oxygen and moisture in air and also UV light. So if you can essentially, when you're not wearing your shoes, protect them for those three things, you can extend the life of them by a long time. And so what we did is we created a product that essentially encapsulates the shoes and then injects the preservative inside. So if you think about like a Declaration of Independence or artifact, it's surrounded by glass so that the oxygen and moisture can't come inside. And then what they do is they do a purge method. So it's not like a suction, it's like a purge. It's like if you fill this room with water, you would purge out all the air because there's no more air in this room, right? So similar to that, they put in a preservative, like something like a nitrogen, and that replaces the air inside. And nitrogen or the preservative that we use doesn't have those harmful elements that make your shoes fall apart and it can basically it puts them in a neutral environment so now your shoes can last a lot longer.
Wow, that's powerful, man. That's a lot I gotta dig into right there. Like, but really, what you're saying is that's what takes it from crumble to collectible.
So yeah, it's definitely like yeah. And so like the crumbling, the yellowing, extending the life of your shoe, it helps with all of that. And just keeping it in a like new condition, keeping your materials like your suede, your nubuck, your leather, all of those things in like a pristine condition. It helps with all of that.
Cool, cool. Yeah, so it's almost like museum grade collectors we talk about a lot for the sneakerhead. So, and like you mentioned, there's a few different buckets and so forth. I'm not sure where I fall in between there, but I do like to keep my sneakers clean, clearly.
Yeah.
But no, so now there are conversations around like wearing your sneakers. Like a lot of
Yeah.
people, you'll find these different threads or people commenting on different things, and it's like, hey, the crease is the wear, right? It's like a cultural stand on authenticity of like, hey, they should crease and so forth. Like,
Right.
but you can do both, right? Or how do you approach those conversations?
I just feel like whatever like, do you, right? Like, if you like creases, wear your shoes. I don't really like creases. I like my shoes to look like the same way when I bought them. So I like to keep them clean. I like to keep them like new condition. So that's why I like to clean my shoes. Then I protect them, preserve them with capsules. So you can still wear your shoes. We're not telling people not to wear your shoes.
Right.
But the point is like when you're not wearing them, if you're someone who has like 30 pairs of shoes, right? And you rotate every shoe every day, that means you're wearing one shoe 12 times a year, right? You just do the simple math, 30 days in a month,
Right.
30 pairs. So you're only wearing it 12. So there's 300 and like 50 other days are just sitting there unprotected,
Right.
right? So that's what this product is. It's almost like if you're gonna eat a bag of chips and you eat half the bag, you just leave it open and it gets stale, right? You rather just roll it up and put the clip on there until you're ready to eat it
Right.
again, right? It's kind of
Exactly.
like that's like the simple analogy I kind of give people.
I like that.
And so that's what the product is designed for. So like for me, like I have over I don't know like 75 pairs of shoes at this time, right? So like there's no way I'm gonna like rotate through them and wear them all the time. Like I have a lot of them protected, probably about 30 or 40 just sitting in capsules right now.
Got you. So you can wear them, but you can also preserve them as well.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
I think that's one thing that definitely needs to be emphasized is that okay, you want to wear your sneakers, that's great. I love wearing my sneakers, right? But it's also that between wears, what happens to the shoe, right?
exactly.
I'm wearing these shoes outside. I'm walking around, right? The weather today is humid, it's damp, right? I'm gonna wear it. I don't even know what's happening to my shoes because interacting with moisture. I'm gonna go home, maybe wipe it off. I think I'm good. Put it like in a shrink wrap or something, right? But the thing is, the moisture's been exposed to it. All of those things that are happening that are damaging my shoe
Right.
that I don't know about. And to your point, like you said, you'll go a year or two later, you're gonna take it out. It's gonna be cracking, crumbling, yellowing.
Yeah, yeah. It really. I mean, sometimes it could be a couple years. Sometimes it could be 5 years, 10 years. It just really depends on the shoe, the environment. Like if you're in like moist, really moist areas like Miami, Singapore, like those type of places, it really happens really frequently. Like I think if you guys saw the recent Trick Daddy video, like he pulled out all his shoes and they like will fall apart. I mean, it's gonna happen eventually, but our product is going to extend that lifespan, and we say up to 20 years because based on our testing that we've done, we've been able to reduce it, the aging by 2 to 3 times.
I love that. So actually want to double click on that because I wanted to get to that point, like
Yeah.
about so there's a cost and then there's this perceived value
Right.
aspect of things. So how do you argue the ROI, in that vein?
Yeah, I would just say like you could think about the alternative methods. So you could think about like soul swap is probably like you have to buy a donor shoe and then you have to hire someone to really take apart that sole and put it on your old shoe, right? So what does that cost you? I mean, yeah, it depends on like a couple $100, 400 or 500 bucks, right, for you to go through that whole process, or you can pay $40 or 25 bucks if you buy in bulk and be able to not do that for another 20 years, up to another 20 years. So I think that's the ROI. It's like, yeah, I get to keep my shoe in its original condition because, like, it's almost like car collectors. Like, you want everything in original condition. Like, that's what you don't want to like have to like de-ice your shoes because that kind of messes with the material. You don't want to do a sole swap. You want to keep it in the OG materials as much as possible, right? So, and that's what our product helps.
Excellent, excellent. Appreciate that.
And I also want to mention one thing, which I thought was amazing, right? If it's not obvious, the capsule fits inside the sneaker box,
Yeah.
right? So it's like if it's not something, if you want to maintain original box because of resale value and you want to sell it in original box, you're not sacrificing that. Oh, I have to throw the box out and put it in a capsule.
Yeah.
You can put it in a capsule. Am I correct?
Yeah, it fits right in the box and was designed for that reason. So basically, you don't have to try to create more storage space, and it also fits in your drop front. So if you have drop fronts, you don't have to get rid of that. You could put it in your drop front, and so it's really, really nice from that aspect. It just comes in two sizes. Both sizes fit in the shoebox. And
Talk about an argument for ROI, again, so many different ways. We appreciate that. And so there's a lot of different aspects to business and building a product and, raising money and talking to investors and sales and like all these different things and, being in the markets. So we want to get into some of that conversation as well. Um, in conjunction with that, when you look at what other brands are doing that may be adjacent to the category, we think about socks,
Okay.
for
Yeah, yeah.
example. Think Bombas, right?
Yeah.
So they have obviously a mission associated with what they do. So you buy a pair of socks, and then they also donate a pair.
Yeah.
Is Capsule looking at something similar, having that piece of the puzzle, so to speak?
Yeah, we actually just started something recently, which I'm really, really excited about. We're going to do a giveaway every month to a kid in need. So we're going to partner with a school out here in Phoenix, Arizona, and every month we're just going to go. We're just going to bless somebody with a pair of shoes, right? Like some shoes that they normally couldn't get, and then we're also going to add some books with it too as well, because I'm really big on on trying to give people the tools like they need to succeed in life, like later on in life. Like I was very blessed as a kid. I had a father who was an entrepreneur. I had a lot of men in my life who were successful in their own right, and I didn't have to go outside and look for that. So they would always feed me knowledge, give me books to read. So I just want to be able to bless some another young kid. Probably we're looking to do like ages like third grade to sixth grade to start with, see how well it goes, and just I don't want to do it like only on Christmas time. I want to do it every month. So every month we're gonna do
That's
that.
fascinating. That's awesome. That's amazing. We appreciate that. That's huge. That's big. I'm looking forward to being able to be involved with that as well.
Yeah, yeah. You guys, we'll be dropping some videos on it and just showing the progress, talking to the kids in the school.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, I mean, because I got a few pair of shoes, I'm sure that I can pass along and be able to contribute.
Yeah, we're just gonna. I'm literally gonna go to like Foot Locker or
Uh
whatever. I'm
oh.
gonna buy them. I'm gonna
Look
buy
at
them
that.
like fresh shoes. Like I'm not gonna. I'm
Fresh
not gonna like. I'm not
out
gonna
the
give them no
box.
hand me downs or anything. They're gonna get like
Look
fresh
at that.
shoes in their size, and so that they can hold on to and they can wear and do whatever they want with. So
So you can see the heart of the brand. We
yeah,
appreciate that.
yeah,
That's what builds community, right? That aspect of we're not just sneaker preservation, we're about sneakers, right? And we're gonna spread the sneakers and spread the love and spread the admiration and appreciation we have for these by giving back.
yeah.
But what I loved about it is what you mentioned with also giving the books, right? So I'm going to give you this thing that you covet, like this thing that you want, but I'm also going to show you what comes with it, right? Is that knowledge? This is going to help you get this.
Right.
It's the books that are going to help you get the shoes, right? Later on in life and as you progress. So I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, and you guys know more. If you have like a certain skill set in this life, like you can really do so much with it, right? It's just like like marketing, for example, like, if you were to like lose everything, but you knew you were the best marketer in the world, you can arguably make it back really, really quick. Like there's like, so many people like Grant Cardone's, Alex Ramosis, all these guys who are just really, really good at sales and marketing. That skill set um is very important, right? And so developing, teaching these kids or having these kids just be open to like understand that you can build a skill set. It doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, um, in entertainment industry. You don't have to be a rapper. You don't have to play basketball. You can still be successful in other areas. And I feel like a lot of like brown and black kids don't get that exposure and that experience. So I want to be able to like show them that and be able to communicate that with them.
No, that's dope. It's fascinating. It makes me think about, and Anarup knows one of my mentors, Dr. Tyrone Blesso. And I remember when I was in college, he was the first person, like you mentioned, like who gave me books. He was like, "Look, get How do Successful People Think" by
Yeah,
John X Maxwell,
yeah,
John C. Maxwell.
yeah,
Then 21 Indispensable Qualities of a Leader.
yeah,
Like all these different books, and so I started reading these books. Dr. Richard Major's Cool Pose,
yeah,
like all these different things, and that would then I have all these thoughts in my head like, oh, building on the skill set, right?
yeah,
And then after, going through that process, I just became a very avid reader. Like I'm constantly
yeah,
reading books. I just heard a guy who said like if I had one superpower, if I could just have one superpower would be like being able to read a book in a day. Like if I can just consume information at that type of a speed, obviously we
yeah,
have limitations as humans, but if I had that as a superpower, that's what I would want. I want to just like read, like
yeah.
just dig in. So what I've been focusing on is like even a page. Like I heard someone say, let's get a page a day because we get so busy. And so now I'm in this book right now, talking about by Darren Lee. It's called Predictable Irrational.
Okay.
And so
Sounds interesting.
yeah, it's very interesting. So I was just focused on this one page, and he was just talking about like he's like the Beatles said a long time came by me love kind of deal. And
Uh-huh.
like, how do you then like take that framing and use it in your? It's four different questions that he said he constantly asks himself, and just let me just geek out on these four questions around this thing.
It's funny you bring up the Beatles. I think I was listening to this podcast the other day. So like I think it was Beatles or it was some musician. He was already wealthy and he wanted to put a pool in his backyard and his wife was like no because he already had the money and he was like okay I'll just go write a song
Uh
to afford to put my pool in the backyard, right? So he was like I have all this money but I didn't want to go back and spend it, so I just used my skill set that I had to generate more money to be able to get what I want, which was like, I think a lot of times we think about like, like how we can get something, but like, but we think look want to look at our savings or something else. But it's like, how can I use my skills that I have? And I've done that before, where like I've had people like do stuff for me, and I just trade my skills as a lawyer just to get something back from them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you need those reviewed? Yeah, just I need you to edit this content for me,
Yeah.
right?
No,
Like,
that's a deep nuance, and that was the premise of that story that Darren really was talking about, where you're like, you can't buy me love from Beatles told us a long time. Because sometimes it's like once things enter into the market
yeah,
value or cost, then we're thinking about dollars versus if can we trade? Can we do a trade? Like you
yeah,
mentioned, like
exactly.
these skills I have, I can do a trade. And so he talked about like the Burning Man, festival things that they do, and he was like, over there, it's like you can't take
Yeah,
there's no
there's
money,
no
right?
money. It's
And so
all
there's no
all
money. So
bargain
he
and
was
trade.
like, for me, he was really good at putting puzzles together. So he was giving people puzzles. Someone else had water, they would give their water. Other people had other skills that they were just trading
Yeah.
off. And so it was just an interesting. He was like, I don't know if I can do that at 365, but it was a really great experience. So I was like, I may have to consider that. But yeah,
Yeah, money or currency is just it's just a bargaining tool.
yeah.
It's just a bargaining tool.
With that thought in mind, let's stand on that topic, right? Like, what's the most you've ever spent on a T-shirt?
On a T-shirt?
Yeah, like
Shh, dude, I don't know. Like maybe $100. Like,
Look, let's look at that. But just, but like,
yeah,
okay, now someone would be like, "Well, you spent $100 on a
yeah,
T-shirt? Like, why?
yeah.
Like, was it quality? Like, because we talking about that narrative of like things that people perceive the cost or value of something. Like, what made you willing to pay $100 for a
Um,
T-shirt?
it might have just been urgency, man. Like, I was probably like in Vegas trying to go out. Like I was just like, I was like, I'm at the mall. Like this is probably the cheapest thing, and I want to look nice. And
Yeah,
like, so it was probably just an urgency thing, like scarcity. It's like, like why would you spend $10 for water? It's like probably because you're at the airport.
right.
You know what I mean? And like, you can't buy. It's like, do I go thirsty or do I buy the water here? So I think a lot of times, well, for me at least, like that was my
Depends
situation.
on the context. So I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
yeah.
Talk about like comes down to supply and demand and so forth. Wanted to get your idea on when we think about the state of sneaker resale,
Mhm.
right? And I have a follow up question to that as well.
Okay.
But because you have this amazing product that you've created, right?
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, if you're a sneaker reseller and not using it, I don't even know what to say. If you're a sneaker buyer and if your reseller doesn't actually have it doesn't have a capsule, like you need to hold the person you're buying from accountable and say, man, if those shoes aren't in a capsule, I'm not buying them because I don't know what kind of moisture or oxidations already seeped into it,
Right,
right?
right.
But would love to get your idea on when you see, and I know there's a lot of top notch resellers that are your customers still, right?
Right.
How do you see the state of sneaker resale here in this year and how it's evolved and so?
I mean, personally, I love it because I can buy all the shoes that I want for like if I don't hit for retail, they're not like as expensive as they were like 3 years ago. So that part is nice. I think the market is just resetting, right? I think it's overall it was just a peak of you have influx of money from during COVID, right? From the government. You had Michael Jordan's documentary drop, which just brought all this hype. You had, I think Nike was just releasing so many shoes. I mean, the truth is, man, Nike controls the market. Like
Mm.
I've talked to so many like other brands, or like Nike really controls the market, right? So the resale market and the market in general. So like if you look at, I think like Dick's just merged with
Foot Locker, was it?
Foot Locker.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like they're I think they're like it's consolidating, and like before that it was like JD Sports had acquired. So there's really like only two. It's like JD Sports and like Foot Locker, are, like the big ones now. There was like three or four before, but they're essentially just trying to get like these distribution deals with
Right.
Nike. I think that's where um so to get back to your question, like the resale market, personally, I love it because I don't want to pay too much for shoes. I think it will go back up eventually. I don't think it's anytime soon, but I think it will go back up a little bit. I just think overall people got tired of Jordan ones because they're releasing too many. So eventually Jordan ones will come back in style. I mean, It's like parachute pants. They went out of style and then they came back in. It's like everything comes back in style. Like baggy jeans when I was like a kid were in style, and then skinny jeans were in style, and then now baggy jeans are back in style. So like everything has a cycle. So I think it's gonna cycle back, and like Jordan ones and the resale market will start going up, and Jordan fours and Jordan threes nobody will want to buy. Like that's how it will go. So yeah,
No, I saw that story too. I think it was Dick Sporting Goods who bought Foot Locker, and I thought that was
yeah.
interesting. I was like, wow, okay. But so let me ask you this: is there something in like what is it about sneaker culture that people may be blind to? Like, is there anything in sneaker culture that most people are blind to?
Speaking from a business standpoint, I would say like sneaker culture or customers, and they're very picky about like who they associate themselves with, what products they rock with. So like building trust with them as a new brand is very challenging. Like I didn't know that going into it as much because I've always been a consumer and never really, someone, as a business owner or selling. But it's really, really like you think about like the scam that happened recently with the Jordan 5 Awakes. Like they were doing all these pre-orders. And so like, then people come to your website, they see this new product no one's ever had. So then it's really like they're like, is this a gimmick? Is this can I trust it? And so what I've tried to do is I've always just tried to communicate as effectively as possible with people. Is like if I mess up, I own it, and I was like, "Hey, how can we make it right with you? Here's some free product. Here's a refund and some free product." Like, I always want to try to be transparent with the customers and try to, try to go above and beyond to really make it right with them. So I think, like, to answer your question, I think from a consumer standpoint, they don't know how hard it is to really build that
Mm,
community that like a Nike, an Adidas, like that's like 30 years in the making.
yeah,
Like,
over time.
like even like Jason Mark, man, Jason Mark was the first like kind of like shoe cleaner. And like they're like probably like the third biggest behind Crept and like Rejuvenator. Like I don't maybe they're all private, I don't know, but I think Crep's the biggest. But you think about that, they've been around, but just Crept, I think, has built a better community, and they've done a better way of doing that. So I think when you're talking about that, it's really all about sneakers are all about community, man. It's that's really what it's about. It's about other like-minded people joining hands and singing kumbaya and buying shoes together, right?
I
Like
like
that's
that, because even for me as someone who's serious about marketing and selling, it's easy to then like come into that zone and try to market or sell a certain product to that community a
right,
certain way that they may feel like, wait, no, that's not how we do things, so
right.
to speak. So having that understanding, that knowledge to then be able to position it in a way in which it's tasteful and that's something they, like you said, they will rock with, so to speak. So knowing those nuances, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny you guys bring that up, but like, you know, before I was working with you guys, I worked with some other people, and they just didn't understand that nuance of like how to like what does dead stock mean, like grails, like all these terms, and like we can't talk to them like this way. We sound like a L7, right? We sound like a square. Like no one's gonna come to my page if we have this if we're talking like this to them. And so getting people who understand the culture, who can really help me from a standpoint communicate the benefits, the trust, what Capsule represents is that you guys have been huge in that
No,
that
appreciate
that
that.
regard. So
No,
yeah,
thank you, thank
yeah,
you.
of course.
So you brought up the L7, right? So now, have anyone ever said to you that protecting, like the protection aspect of the sneaker is nerdy? Like,
Oh, all the time.
right?
Yeah, for
So
sure,
like,
all the
how do you
time.
flip that perception? Like,
I mean, look, there's some people that whatever I say, I could talk to them for days, or they're not gonna buy it. I just give them the facts, man. If they want to buy it, they want to buy it. Like it's like, hey, like, do you want to add? Would you like to wear your shoes extra 20 years? Yes or no? Yeah. Okay, cool. Are you willing to pay $40 to do it? Yes or no? Yep. Okay, cool. You should buy it.
right,
Do you want your shoes not yellow? And like, oh no, I like when my shoes yellow. Okay, cool. Like maybe you shouldn't buy it then.
right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, um, I try to give people the facts. I think most people they understand the benefits of it. It's really now just more of communicating like why it works, educating them on like because like when we did a study, only like 50% of the people actually knew what caused their shoes to like fall apart and age. Like most people didn't know like what oxidation hydraulics. They kind of heard of it, but they didn't really know. They thought like all you need to do is wear your shoes they you can wear and they will last longer. And that's not really totally accurate, right? Because if you wear your shoes, they're still going to yellow, right? Oxidation doesn't help wearing. Wearing really helps with like the polyurethane midsoles, help keeps them kind of squishy and put. It's supposed to like push out like extra moisture or something. That's like some people say. Scientifically, like I haven't seen any research to really support that. Um, but like I do think like if you want to wear your shoes and you think that works, I think you should definitely do it. Like I'm not against it. I just like no one's really come to me and said like, "Hey, I wore one right shoe and I left the other shoe out and I didn't wear it, and this is like the difference, right?" Because that's how you would have to that's how you would have to test it,
Right,
really,
right, for real.
realistically, right? And that's what we did with our testing. We like literally bought the same shoe, put one of them and exposed to the elements. We took the other one and really encapsulated capsule, and then we saw the difference. Okay, so it's like a testing environment, and it's like, okay, this shoe is 2 to 3 times less yellow degradation aging, right? This one has 2 to 3 times more yellowing, degradation, and everything. So, like, that's like a test environment. That's how you would kind of test it. So, like, for the most part, I don't think people have really done that. But in sneaker culture, someone says one thing, it really sticks. And so I think a lot of people think if they wear the shoes, they're just going to last longer. Like, it's not. It's not. That's I have not seen that always been the fact.
Right. No, for real.
Ask
So
ask Trick Daddy.
yeah, yeah. Right. No, I appreciate it. So no, that's very, 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 very interesting. I was thinking about too, like going back to the conversation about community.
Yeah.
Um, so I've been listening to the old Ti,
Yeah.
ASAP, right?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Right. And so ASAP. So what was interesting is he said a line in there, he's like white tees and EVs. And so then it got me thinking about the e-visas because I remember when I was younger and I couldn't afford the e-visas at that time, but I wanted a pair, right? And I was like, man, I haven't heard no one talk about that brand in so long. Like, is they even still around, right? So then I started doing all this research, going down the rabbit hole, and they still around. I mean, and they still won't like. It's not cheap. It's like $400 a pair of jeans. Like they still got their price point is still high. The quality and everything. T-shirts was like $100. One was like 200. I was like, interesting. I was like, so then I went to their page and just started going down. Community. Their community is strong. And they had this tagline on one of their shirts that said, uh, built to last over time. And so it was oh, so they understood that, listen, yeah, we probably was a part of a trend back then, but we're still around. We still are who we are, and those who know
Got it.
kind of deal. And I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to get me a pair of visas. So,
Yeah.
so anyway,
Shoot, man. I think I used to wear Jabot jeans back in the day. I remember
yeah,
rocking
yeah,
some
definitely have some
Jabots. So
Jabals.
like,
Yeah,
yeah.
Jabals was a thing.
I think I might have saw those. I think I saw somebody wearing those. I was like, "Dang, they still make Jabot." I don't know if they do.
Cool.
Um,
Want to think about that aspect of nostalgia, right?
yeah,
Lionel made a great point. Visals, you're talking about the jeans, right? And now it's a generation of those who grew up on them, who now want them and so forth, right? Because it was an aspirational piece at that time.
yeah,
I think there was a big flux of people in the 2000s, into 2010s who grew up with Jordans, right?
yeah,
They were Michael Jordan fans when they were kids. Maybe they couldn't get all the sneakers they wanted.
yeah,
Now they're at that peak buying power,
yeah,
right? And they're getting these sneakers and so forth. I wanted to ask you because I think personally, just personal opinion, there was a period where we had a bit of a lull in like cool signature sneakers, right?
yeah,
I think, you had the Jordans, you had some of the cool things in the 90s and early 2000s, right? Iversons and Grant Hills we talked about the
Oh
other
man, I
day.
want a pair of those. Yeah.
And he got into like Kobe's, right?
yeah,
Especially when Kobe went to Nike, you had the LeBrons.
yeah,
And, since then it's kind of been like whatever. I think now recently we've seen a lot of creative things happen with Ant and SGA kind of doing different things to sneakers, right? Even Luca doing the baddest man,
yeah,
ads and so.
yeah.
Who, from your opinion, understanding sneakers so well, I'm not gonna say is going to challenge the Jordan, aspect, right? Because that's just something else culturally.
Yeah.
But who do you think shows the best like potential to you in all these new emerging signature sneakers?
Ooh, that's a hard one.
Just never know.
Yeah, because maybe SGA, just because he's like with Converse, even though Converse is under Nike. Um, But it's just like Jordan just gave us so many moments that we could relate to him that let us touch a piece, like you said earlier, like that piece of greatness and legacy, right? That we could all put on Jordans, and even though we can't jump like him, we feel like a little bit like we can maybe, like if we
Yeah, in
try
our
really
heads.
hard. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly, right? So I think that's part of it. So it's really, I think the people who inspire us, and I think also like Jordan is cool, right? Like I like Steph Curry, like one of my favorite players, and like, but I think his shoes are not, they don't like really, I just can't, like I'm not like a,
It just is what it is.
yeah, like, right. So um but, like, there's just some people like Jordan was just like he had the hoop in his earring, he had the swag, he could jump, he had, like, the charisma, he had the shoe, he had all these things going for him, so, like, maybe Ant has all that, now it's like, can he continue to win?
Well, that's
Like,
yeah,
right? Can he
yeah.
continue to
Remains to
win?
be seen.
SGA has that too.
Yeah.
Can he just won, can he continue to win? I mean, his shoes are really are they're doing really well right now, and they're not super expensive. So I think that's gonna appeal to a lot of people too as well. I actually like Halliburton's from Pumas. Those are really nice too. I really like those. But I think maybe SJ and Ant will have a chance to not a, I think a slim chance, but they might be able to compete with him. I think Kobe, his shoes are going to continue as well for a while. I think KD, his shoes will continue past even after he retires. I think they'll still be. And then LeBron, his shoes will continue to as well. But just Jordan is so hard, man. It's
Yeah.
just he just hit so many things at the
Yeah.
right moment.
It's embedded.
It's so hard to like
Yeah.
duplicate.
It's almost like a DNA marker. It's like you can't get you just can't
Yeah, it's like it's. I'm trying to think like yeah, I don't know. Like
That's a tough one.
that's the tough
Well,
one.
just staying on the topic of sneakers, and we talked earlier about memory, and there's memory structures, and there's moments in your life that you remember. Now, there's two moments for me that I'm thinking about right now, and so the first one, and I remember this street right, growing up in Detroit. I remember when I was staying with my brother, his side of the family, and on the west side of Detroit, we was on Greg. I can remember walking up Greg's,
Mhm.
and I had a pair of the Ewings, had the Patrick Ewings, man, had the with the pump, I was like, oh man, I remember that. Like that just gives me this memory of like I really felt cool. Like, oh man, I got the Ewings on my way to school. So that was a moment you made me think. I ain't thought about that moment
Yeah,
in so long, but we're having this conversation about sneakers, and I was like, man, them Ewings, man, Patrick Ewing. And I think he's one of the like undervalued greats. Like Ewing had, man, he had a time for real. But just those shoes were like a moment for me, and I think they even are highly regarded.
yeah.
For real. And then the other ones was the Sam Cassells.
Okay.
Like I had a pair, the white navy blue. I remember them, and I remember they were gifted to me, Street Lord Juan fan. And his mom had gave me a pair of them, and I was like, man, I was like 9 or 10 years old, and I was like, oh man, I got some Sam Cassells. These are nice. So those were two moments
Yeah.
that I remember as far as stars. But let me get to the question. So what is there one thing that any sneakerhead can do to extend, the life of their grails? What's one thing that they can do?
Yeah, I mean, outside of like our product and everything. So yeah, I would just say keep them in a cool, dark, air conditioning, ventilated space, right? So that would be my full like when you're not wearing them. Yeah. That's probably like the biggest thing. Even with our product, I tell people to do the same thing because you don't want to have a drastic temperature change back and forth because that's going to help them. It's going to break down materials faster. Um, and then you also don't want any direct sunlight. I've seen a lot of people, they have like the shoes like by a window, like in a acrylic or a drop front, and you'll see like one side of the shoe is like all faded, other side of the shoe looks like new.
Yeah.
And so those are the two things I would say. Definitely keep away. Don't use vacuum sealing. Vacuum. It's interesting because I was like, why doesn't vacuum sealing work when I first started this product? And I came across this article. Basically, what it does is it pulls out like if you ever like vacuum seal like meat or chicken or something like that, you see like the juices starting to come out. So it really pulls everything to the surface. So sometimes your shoes have these little plasticizers in that they use to like keep the rubber like a certain like density or color or whatever. So when you do the vacuum sealing method, it pulls these things to the surface, and it can actually change. It could also cause your shoes to like get oily and yellow stuff like that. So I wouldn't use vacuum sealing. Just my personal opinion.
Yeah, just get the capsule.
So those are some tips that I would just say, yeah, like definitely do those.
Any closing thoughts?
Oh, I'm gonna probably ask you a couple of things real quick, right? And this is coming again, being insightful in this. What would you, personal opinion, right?
What?
What would you think is one of the most underrated sneakers? I want to go back to Lionel's point. Like, so one most underrated sneaker.
Underrated sneaker that hasn't like I was thinking about this the other day, like probably the KGs, like the
Mm.
remember they had the air bubble, they're like all black with like the baby blue and blue faded. I can't remember which. I think it was his first model. Those ones were like they were comfortable too because I used to hoop in those. Those are like a good shoe. Hirachis, I like the Hirachis. The
Oh,
Hirachis were
that's a, yeah,
dope.
that's one for real.
I used to wear K Swiss. I used to wear K Swiss, man. Some white K
Okay, I
Swissies.
never got
Yeah,
into.
white K Swiss used to be kind of be like Air Force Ones, like
Okay,
low key. You have Air Force Ones, you have some K Swiss, um, but like there's nothing like crispy white Air Force Ones. Trying to think what else, what other models they haven't re-retroed in a while.
that's a good list.
That's
Yeah,
a good
that's a good
list.
list.
So
So I want to talk a little bit about entrepreneurial journey, Darren. You know, you talked about that emotional moment of having those coveted sneakers that you had.
yeah,
You know, just the emotion that you felt when they were yellowed, they were destroyed, and so forth. It essentially created this, need set you down this path to want to then create something
yeah.
that another kid wouldn't experience that, right? Tell us a little bit about that journey of that thought that you had, and then how that turned into Capsule today. What was that like?
Yeah, it was. It just initially was a thought, man. Like I wanted to like see people would buy it. So I did like a market study at first. And from that market study, I was able to determine like people would buy it. So it was like 60% of sneakerheads, and we discounted that. So like 40% would buy this product if it had these things. So from there, it was just an execution part of like who can I find to make it, and can I make it to this standard? So we were able to do that. It took 2 years, and that 2 years was like it was a long 2 years because I had my daughter. My daughter was born. We had different suppliers who kept sending us like bad prototypes because like they just didn't understand what I was trying to ask for because it was based in China, and so I was just trying to like get all this stuff done, and then I had to hire someone else to finish the actual prototype. And I was able to get it done. Then after that, we had to find somewhere to test it. So we found this facility in Georgia, had these like accelerated age testing machines, and was able to, like I said, test the product and talked about the results there, which was 2 to 3 times like less yellowing degradation. So basically, being able to add up to 20 more years to your kicks. And so after that, that was like 2 years, and I had sold nothing and spent like a lot of money, right? So you just gotta imagine, like I'm just like stressed. Then after that, we do a Kickstarter. So we have a goal just to sell $5,000 worth of units. End up tripling that, hitting $15,000. Sounds like yes, it's great. And then we go into first year, we do 40,000. The next year we do like 140,000. And so the journey's been long, it's been hard. I think like the work isn't hard. Like the work isn't hard. What's hard is like the uncertainty. Like, not knowing like, do I just dropped 100 G's? Like, is this gonna work?
Right. Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like I literally like, I just took money out of my savings and just put this like, are people gonna buy it? Like first time someone bought my product, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
like you know what I
Yeah, that
mean? And
excitement.
then like, more people buy it. And I was like, okay, 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 yes, this is working, people understand it, stuff like that. So that part, the uncertainty part is the hardest part. It's like I was thinking about this in my head, like the analogy I could give people is this. It's like imagine you're like you have to hike this mountain every day, like it's like Camelback or something, right? And so they're like the girl of your dreams or the guy of your dreams, right? Is at the top of this mountain, right? So you're like you hike up the mountain, you get there, and they're like, oh, they're not there. They're like, well, they come up here every so often. Nobody knows when or where. So you're like, okay, cool. I'll go back. I'll go back tomorrow. You hike up there, they're not there, right? 6 months go by, still not there, right? Still the person's not there. A year go by. Oh, you finally run into her, but she's with a boyfriend. And then you're like, And then you're like, all right, cool. So then you ask yourself, am I going to keep hiking back up this mountain or am I going to stop? So you keep hiking back in the mountain. 6 months later, you see her again. This time she's by herself. You shoot your shot. And she's like, sorry, like I just got out of a relationship and, it's,
Oh man.
but now she knows who you are, right? So you're like, okay, cool. So you're like, okay, am I going to keep going back up this mountain? Keep going back this mountain. 6 months later go by. So it's 2 years now. You've been hiking this mountain. You see her up there again and you shoot your shot. This time she says yes and she agrees to go out with you, right? And this whole time you've been hiking up this mountain, you've turned into a different person, right? You're more fit. You have all these different skills. You have the perseverance, the patience, all these things that make you attractive to her now, or make her attracted to you now. And so you wouldn't have been able to keep this person or get this opportunity without going up the mountain all the times that you have, right? Because you get the skills, get the patience, the perseverance, the persistence that you need. And so that's what I tell myself at least. Like I'm still going up this mountain, right? And I'm trying, and you're hoping for the chance to really lock eyes with that person or the opportunity that you've been looking for and really hold on to it once you get it. So we're definitely in a good position right now. And I'm happy with where we are as a company. But I feel like that's the entrepreneurial journey, at least for me, if that's how I would describe it.
So all right. So now, okay. So the lesson then, because in all of that, was there a point where you just felt like walking away?
Oh,
And if what did that feel like?
oh, like last week, yeah.
Like
Like, no, yeah, honestly, it's all the time, man. It, you doubt yourself.
mhm,
You doubt if you're doing it the right thing, right? Because it's like you're testing everything to see if it works. And, it's like if you've never done it before, you don't know if you're doing the right thing. And so you start doubting yourself. And it feels like the hardest thing is like you just don't know what direction to go into. Like there's no guarantee.
mhm,
And so you have to be okay with no guarantee. If that makes sense. It's like I think I'm going in the right direction.
mhm.
I don't know if it's necessarily going to get me to where I'm going, but I might have to deviate and go this way, go this way. It's not like a straight line. You're kind of zigzagging trying to get to your goal. And so a lot of times it feels like hopelessness, it feels like complacency, it feels like you feel stressed, you just feel um like you're by yourself
Mhm.
all the time. I just feel like lonely because I'm like no one understands it because they're not in it with you day to day. And so I just
Yeah, that's
try
heavy.
to,
Yeah.
yeah, it's hard sometimes, man. And so I just try to keep going and pick a path and try to stick to it as long as I can until it's time to go to another path. And so that's the hardest thing is to know when to pivot and know when to keep going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so right now I think I'm definitely at a point where keep going. Like things are on the uptick, things are going well. But there's days when like there's this little stuff that goes wrong and
Yeah.
it's like a little thing and it just breaks you because
Right.
like all these big things have happened and
Yeah.
you're like, why is this little
It
thing
it's like
breaking
people say,
me?
like growth is not linear. It's like it's these zigs, like I
Yeah,
said, going up that was a great analogy,
yeah,
keep hiking, up this mountain, staying committed. And
yeah.
then I'm sure there's wins, like you mentioned along the way that
There are.
that keeps you going,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
as it were. Yeah.
There is, man. It's like I think the part is you're discovering who you are as a person through this process. You're like, man, I didn't know I'd be able to like sustain this. I don't know if I'd be able to keep going after this, right? It's like lifting weights. It's like I started off benching 200, now I'm up to 300, right? It's like, man, it's like,
Mm.
and like I feel like a lot of times the business you want you're not ready for, or the
Mm.
person you want you're not ready for because you haven't done the work to be able to get it
Right.
right. A lot of times we just want it right away, but if you were to think about I want to build $100 million business, it's not going to happen in a year, it's not going to happen in 5, it's probably going to be like 10 or 15 or 20, right?
Yeah.
Like you look at all these great entrepreneurs, they've been doing it for a long long time. So I just try to give myself like a little grace and just
Yeah.
just patience to really
Yeah.
get it done, right?
Yeah.
And you guys probably know
Yeah, for
this as
sure. No,
well. So
it's not easy. I mean, we've had our share of zigzags and
yeah,
ups. There's always going to be your ups. There's going to be, and sometimes like once you've done it for a long time, like for us, like we're 7 years in as of June, and it's like you remember that first year when you like, oh, okay, I want to do this thing, and what you thought the results would be, and then it doesn't really go that way. And then the second year, and then you, like you say, you pivot or you kind of realign in a different way. Then you get to that 3 years. So we used to say, like, I now know why people say if you've been in business for 5 years, then that's a really good sign
Yeah.
because we felt like since then we had so much momentum. Like, oh, okay, this is what
Yeah.
that momentum feels like. And so now going into our 8th year, but we're still running to these different
Yeah.
obstacles or different set of circumstances that make you have to still shift this way or that way. And you're like,
Let me ask you this:
yeah.
does it like, do you like obstacles that you had in like year one? Like, do they even bother you anymore? Like, cause like for me, I'm just
N-
like,
no,
well, well,
I wouldn't say so.
like yeah, like obstacles I had in year one. I'm like, oh, like somebody's like, oh, like this happened. Like, oh, it'll be okay.
That's
You
a
know when they
Tuesday.
say,
Like,
yeah, 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 no,
like it'll
for
be
That's
okay.
Tuesday.
yeah. It's like when they say new levels, new devils, and I kind of do something.
Yeah.
Like when you get to certain levels, I'm like, wait a minute, I ran into a lot of different things
Yeah.
this week that was kind of like, so you're building a muscle, a
Yeah.
bigger muscles. You use
Yeah.
the benching right now. I'm benching 315, because you're like, wow, like okay, you got to develop the muscle to just be able to just go.
Yeah, because
And
that would have it
yeah,
would have broke you like in
yeah.
year
Mhm.
one, like
Oh
right.
my
That like some of
goodness.
the problems I have now would have broke me in year
Yeah, yeah,
one, but
yeah. I
like
couldn't.
I've been
Right, yeah,
able.
I couldn't have dealt with this back then.
Yeah, exactly,
So, yeah,
exactly. So
appreciate it.
I think that aspect of resilience, and I think that was a beautiful analogy about climbing that hill, right? The person of your dreams is on that hill. And to your point, like, I think so many will stop at that first 6 month mark that you mentioned, right? Where they saw something and then she was with somebody, right?
yeah,
Or they were
yeah,
with somebody,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Now it's like, okay, all hope is lost. I'm going to stop.
Right.
That's when people talk about crucible moments, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, do I keep going or not? Like you mentioned
Right.
with it. So let me ask you this. We talked about wins that keep you going and so forth. How do entrepreneurs build that resilience? Like, what would your advice be for entrepreneurs to build that resilience to keep hiking another day?
Oh, that's a hard one. I would say remember all the small wins. Like you have to remember all the small wins that got you to where you are. Like that just you and you have to take time to kind of go back and reflect. Like actually go back and say, man, the last 6 months I've accomplished a lot. Like I've done everything I said I could do, or I've done these 9 things or these 10 things. And so I think a lot of times, um, like our expectations of when this disappointment is just when you don't meet your expectations. I expect to get here in 6 months and I'm not there, but you move so far.
Yeah.
You move so far, right? And like maybe it doesn't take 6 months. Maybe your real barometer should be 2 years or 5 years, right? So I think that's where getting the ability to kind of like have the patience, persistence, perseverance, and then also get perspective, right? Because you need perspective from someone who's done it or someone who's done something similar to know like if someone because if you go to someone they're like, hey, I've been doing this for I've been hiking up this mountain for 6 months. He's like, give it 2 more years and then come back and talk to me, right? That's what they're gonna say, and you're like, what? It takes that long? Like, yeah, it takes that long, right? Like,
Yeah.
so
What's the difference between a 4.0 and a 4.6?
yeah, and so I think like, and then I think the other thing is like I think excellence is um like you think about like track stars, like the difference between first place and second place is like like point a tenth of a second, right? But like to get that tenth of a second takes like years and years of training. So it's just like to get to that excellence, it's really takes years. It's not months, or no one's gonna get there overnight. So that's the part where it's mostly just can you outlast people? I think it comes down to it.
Mhm.
What can the audience do? Where can they find you? How can they support you?
Yeah, so you guys can find us at capsulestore.com. Oh, capsulestore.com is our website, and then also Capsule Store is our Instagram handle, and we're on Facebook as well and TikTok. So you can find us in all 3 places, and we also have a YouTube as well. So go find us there, follow us, and be looking out for some good deals coming up this holiday season. We're going to be having a lot of specials and running a lot of things right
Friday.
now, and so yeah, if you guys see me in the community, please feel free to reach out if you have questions or stop me if you see me around.
You know what? They probably want to see an actual like demonstration. I mean, I don't,
Yeah.
can we get a demonstration of the capsule
Yeah.
and
Let
the
me.
icy blue sneakers? Yeah. All right, here we go. Let's see what we got here.
See it in
We got the
action.
great Carla here.
Thank you so much. All right. What size are these?
These are 11 and a half.
11 and a half? All right, cool. So here is, this is just our basic, what we call our grail kit. It's just a one pack, so one unit. And it comes with this little small dust bag. And this has our cartridge and inflator. So this is our preservative. And then you hook it up to here like this and just kind of inject it just like you would do if you were filling up your bike tire. So I'm going to connect this so people can see. All right, can you hold that for me?
Yeah.
All right, and then we have our shoe bag. Comes in this little nice velvet bag here.
Wait, is that velvet? There you go.
So yeah, all this we like premium packaging, so you get that unboxing experience. So this zipper is like an airtight zipper. It's kind of like equivalent to like what a wetsuit zipper would have. So it's truly airtight. So you want to give a little force when you pull that. And then just take this out, and then so essentially you just want to put these shoes in. This is a large. It fits up to a size 15. So put this in here. Ooh.
Protecting the investment while I'm not wearing them. I wore these about 2 times so far. So
Then you just zip these up. Make sure the zipper's all the way up, and then you can kind of see them in here like this. And what we're gonna do is now inject the preservative inside. So think about it as like almost like an air mattress. You're gonna fill it up, and then all the oxygen moisture is gonna be pushed out through here. You can just put your hand down on this, kind of increase the. And then you just close this up. You can take this off. And put the little cap back on, and you're good, man. And then shoes are now sealed, staying fresh, and you just put them back in the shoebox. They fit right back in the shoebox, and you're good to go.
awesome. Appreciate that. Well, till next time, it's Lionel and Arup checking out from Culture X Commerce. Have Darren, founder of CapSole. Check him out. CapSole store, STORE.co.